those of you that are usually here for real estate, I will have another house on the next video. But I really felt compelled to make this video, and I really don't know why. So I'm making it, and I hope you will enjoy it. But I wanted to talk about this topic because I think there might be some of you out there that have some curiosities of your own. Maybe you're getting a little bit older and you're still single, or you haven't had kids, and you're wondering what it would be like as you get older. I was there as well, and I believe it is why I always gravitated towards friends that were older than me, that typically were single. My best friend is 86 years old. He is a retired attorney. He has never been married, and he has never had any kids. And the regret that he has is nearly debilitating. And I hate it for him. But there's nothing I can do. And the one thing that gives me comfort is that he said he had it when he was my age, and currently I don't have it. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk about it. I think part of the reason that he had it is because in his age group it's even more rare than it is in my age group. So for those reasons, I wanted to talk about it. I try to, when I'm making a video, I try to kind of have an outline to kind of know where I'm gonna go throughout the video. I don't like scripts, and I hope you know that I never read scripts. Now, occasionally over the years, I've read things to you, but I always say, hey, I'm about to read this. I don't read my video scripts to you. I just tell you what comes into my brain. Ramble, if you will. So on this topic, I tried to kind of think of an outline, but every time I would just get frustrated. So I figured I would just start talking and see where it goes. And I figured the best thing that I could start with is kind of my own history. How did I get here? Even though Vivian and Pearl are not in the camera, they are both on the bed, and you might hear them snoring. But here's how I got here. My childhood was pretty dysfunctional. I've talked in some past videos about some trauma I had in childhood, and I think it did affect me. My dad was really disconnected. He was there, but he was not. He was physically there, but he was not present mentally. He was not. He never really talked to me. My mom was very loving. So my mom and dad were there till I was about 12. Then they got divorced. And I lived with my mom, and she had a bunch of kids on her hands, and it was hard for her. My dad got a new family and forgot about his old family. And so I was kind of on my own, and my structure before my mom and dad's divorce was a very strict religious household. So when I finally got away from that, I kind of went wild. Now, not crazy, but I was free from those constraints of that strict religious house, smoking and drinking and doing things that I shouldn't have done, and a lot of that had to do with dating girls. And of course, being young and having a crazy drive, I just I was promiscuous, and I never really had a lot of long-term relationships. My high school sweetheart was a couple years younger than me. When I graduated, she was still in school. So like the year after I graduated, she went on spring break. I was working at the time, so she just went on spring break. Well, she got pregnant. Not by me. And so that was a little bit traumatic as far as relationships go, but at the time I was young, and I was, I had not been faithful to her either. So I wouldn't really blame that. I went through a little phase of just being that guy, just dating around and, using women for what I wanted them for. Not that I was a horrible guy. I treated women respectfully, but I took things like that intimacy without relationship, true committed relationship. And of course I broke some hearts. Then I met a girl that I fell hard for, and I mean hard, and I dated her. I really, really loved her. I felt like she would be my wife, and but I was still messed up. I was still dysfunctional as a young man. I was a workaholic. I still had an insatiable drive that she couldn't just satisfy alone, so I was not faithful. She was not faithful either. It became a really toxic relationship, and over time I just stayed because I knew it wasn't a healthy relationship, but I had so much time invested in it, and I truly did love her, and I wanted it to work. But in the end, it didn't. And that relationship did hurt me because I had reached a point where I was ready to commit. I'm like, I'm gonna lose her if I don't straighten up. So I had really had gotten myself to the point that I felt I was being a good man, and at that moment she found somebody else, and it was the first time that I experienced a broken heart, and I realized what I had inflicted upon multiple women in my past, and I felt the shame for that. I felt guilt for that, and I was also dealing with my own broken heart, and it was at that point that I said, that's it, no more. I will never do this to another human being, because the pain, I mean, I had a motorcycle accident, I had 3rd-degree burns on my body, and nothing. I lost a brother. My brother died in a motorcycle accident. I went through a lot of pain, but nothing came close to what that broken heart felt like. I mean, I thought I was gonna die. It hurt so bad, and I'm glad it happened because I needed to know what I had done to other people. Because before then I just didn't really understand how bad they hurt. And so it was critical in making me more mature, making me grow up, making me understand the pain we can cause to other people. And I made a commitment to myself that I would never take that again under false pretenses. I would never tell somebody I love them just to be with them intimately. And so at that point, I mean, it's not like I didn't date. Like, I would take girls out to dinner, but I never really had any relationship I met someone that I thought was everything I ever wanted. And, but it just, I realized, like, there were three things about her. She was a veterinarian, she was smart, she was pretty, and she was nice. And that was enough for me to engage with her. And it just, there were so many other things that we were so extremely different on that it just didn't work. And that one wasn't as painful as it was, not like debilitating pain. It was painful in that it was just another one that didn't work out. And that was the last real relationship I ever had. And so, but there was one woman in between all of that I dated for a very short period of time, that because of that first heartbreak and my inability to recover from that properly, when I found her, I just wasn't ready. But I believe when I look back in all my past, she was the one that I can say she was the one that got away. She's married with kids now and just has a great life, and I'm happy for her. But I was the most compatible with her. And I was just too broken to make it work at the time. And I think that that's really the situation I think a lot of us are in, is that we're so broken and we look to another person to basically fix us. It's like, as a man, I should be bringing my strength to the woman. I should not be looking for a woman to make me happy. You have to be happy on your own. You have to have your own happiness and bring that happiness to someone else. Someone else is not going to make you happy. It just is not going to happen. Now, they can enhance your happiness, but another person cannot fix you. Only you can fix you. And I think that that's the proper thing that we have to do. We have to fix ourselves before we try to intertwine our lives with someone else. It's like, I can't ask you to go with me if I don't know where I'm going. Like, you need to present like, as a man, I believe a man should be the leader, not like authoritarian, but certainly the leader in the relationship by saying, this is where I want to go with my life. Do you want to come along with me with that and enhance my life? I make your life better, you make my life better. A partnership. That's what we all need. But until you know where you're going, I don't think it's possible, or I don't think it's appropriate for you to ask someone to come with you. I just don't. And so for that reason, I'm here. Because it took me a long time to fix myself. It took me a long time to fix my brokenness. I was a broken person, and I feel like, in essence, that's why I think I understood it about myself early on. And I think that I looked for a place to put that energy, and I put that energy into work. Like, I distracted myself and worked, because I thought, I knew that when I wasn't working, I was destructive. I was doing things that I shouldn't be doing in free time. And so I didn't want free time. I wanted to be productive, because when I was productive, I was bringing positivity to my life. And it's not about the money. This is not about money. This was about productivity. It was about being useful and productive in society and being being a good person and working on myself before I was ready to present myself to someone else. And so what I will say is that even though I am 52 and I've never had kids, it's a very, very low percentage chance that I will have kids. I will say that. It's very low. But do I see myself ever being married? I don't really know at this point, because I really am also conflicted about the act of marriage itself, in that I know why it was so important for so long. And when women didn't have rights, it was critical to protect them. But in today's society, I just don't know if the marriage is, if it is truly necessary, in that if you love someone and you want to stay with them, why do you need the government to be involved in that? Because it's like a preacher marries you, but it takes a lawyer and a judge to divorce you. And I think that system seems really strange to me. And it's like, as a man, now I'm in Indiana, this is not an alimony state, but many states are. So as a man, you're expected to be the provider and the protector, the support. And when the marriage ends, that is still a requirement in most states for you to provide. Where like a woman typically brings kindness and love and intimacy, the things that a man needs from a woman, and those things end. She does not have to bring any of those any longer into out of the marriage. She no longer has to be kind or loving or sweet or intimate with you. But the man is still responsible for support. And I suppose if like the woman is the breadwinner, then it is the opposite way. It works the same. Women are responsible to pay men alimony. I think that like Jennifer Lopez had to pay, I think she's had like 6 or 7 husbands, but one of her husbands was a backup dancer and she had to pay him a hefty sum of money. So I know that stuff does happen, but it's a lot more rare than on the man side. So I just don't know. I just hold out hope that somehow, some way, the right person will come along and I'll have a life partner again. But if it doesn't, I'm okay with that too. Like, I don't have to have it. I have found a way to be happy alone. Like, a lot of people ask me, aren't you lonely? Yeah, sometimes I'm lonely, but it pales in comparison to the pain of being miserable with someone. Loneliness hurts, but it hurts a lot less than the pain of being with someone you know you shouldn't be with. And so for those reasons, I don't choose to just have somebody for the sake of having somebody. And I know a lot of people do that they cannot be alone. I've got a good friend that just cannot be alone. I went to eat with him last night because his girlfriend was taking her kid somewhere and he could not be alone. So he called me up, hey man, you want to go eat? And I'm like, okay. But I knew it was because he could not stand to be alone. Like, he told me there are times like he'll be at home alone and he'll just go to the grocery store to be around people because he does not like to be alone. And I have told him that it's an issue. If you are not comfortable with yourself, there is something going on there. You have to be comfortable with yourself. And if you're not, I think that that's part of the healing process until you're comfortable in your own skin. You're never going to be good in a relationship because you've got problems that you need to get resolved before you entangle yourself with another person. So I think it's important. Now, my mom and dad are divorced. My sister is on her third husband. My brother is divorced. My aunts and uncles are divorced. My cousins are divorced. Like, I know the divorce rate in America is like 55%, but in my family, it's like 90%. My friends are divorced. My friends are paying child support. The guy that I told you about that asked me to go to dinner yesterday, he's paying child support on his kids. It's just I'm surprised he's not on Dateline. The divorce situation that he's gone through is I've not seen anything worse than it on Dateline. I mean, that's how bad it is. And so I spend time with him because I do want to help him, because I know how difficult life is. And I do have some friends that are jealous of my life, like they're miserable with their partners. And they tell me how lucky I am, and like, you're so lucky you didn't do this and that. And look, I don't consider myself lucky, because I do believe that the best way to live is if you can find that one partner that loves you and understands you and gets you and like can be passionate with you. There's nothing like it in the world. I have been in love and I have felt that feeling, and it is amazing. I think every relationship starts that way. We know how that newness feels so amazing, and somehow we lose it. Somehow we let that go, and it hurts us. And yeah, but I think I right now, like, I look around like guys my age, and I know that I'm a good catch for a good woman, and I have to believe that there is someone out there, a female like me, that feels this way. Like, somehow we're gonna find each other, you know. And so I just keep that hope alive. And I believe that one day it will happen. As far as the kids thing, you know I'm gonna get old, and I don't know what that looks like when I get old and I don't have any kids to help take care of me. But at the same time, I think that's kind of selfish to say I want kids around just to take care of me. And I'm like, how really would they take care of me? Like, I hope to be able to be like a healthy 80-year-old. I mean, I don't want kids changing my adult diaper, right? I would not want to put my kids through that. So what would they really do? I don't know. I've missed the joy of that. I know that, like, I've heard my brother tell me and other friends tell me, like, when they first watch their child be born, like, I know it does something to you metaphysically. I know that there's something magical about that. Like, I love my dogs, like, more than I think anybody loves their animals. I feel like I have the most animal love that a human being can have. And I'm sure that it pales in comparison to what the love people have for their own kids, you know. So I understand that I understand that I don't understand. I don't have a kid, so I don't know what that feels like. I get it. I can only imagine. But I think I can do a pretty good job of imagining. So that part, I feel like, yes, I've missed out on that. I've missed out on the joys of watching them grow and become a person, you know, and grow up and to become an adult, and watching them become successful. I never got to experience that. And I'd have to start pretty damn quick to be able to to see it. If I had a kid today, 52, when they're 20, I'm 72. When they're 30, I'm 82. When they're 40, I'm 92. It would be challenging to be able to pull that off quickly. So I just don't know, but I also find the comfort in knowing that I don't have to worry about them. Like, I do have concerns about the future and the world and what it's going to look like in 20 or 30 years. I'm concerned for me a little bit, but I'm a pretty strong survivalist. But if I had kids, I think I would be devastated with worry. Like, I would be extremely worried about the future if I had kids. And so I don't have that. That's like an advantage. But I also feel like I'm not doing my part for society by not having them. Like, we need people, and if we're not reproducing ourselves, then we're not doing our part. But then there's people like Elon that has 13 kids, 12 or 13, whatever he has, who did more than his fair share. So I have a good friend who has 6 kids. The guy I was telling you about that I went and ate with yesterday, he has 3 kids and his girlfriend has 2 kids, so they have 5 kids. So there are people making up for what I did not do. But I'm just trying to explain to you the feelings that it feels like to be 52, to never been married, and to not have kids, and that it does not have to be a death sentence. It doesn't feel like a death sentence to me either. I feel like I've been a good, productive citizen. I feel like that I've done my part for society, except for reproducing. But I also feel like, had I done it at a younger age, sometimes I feel it can do more harm than good. People do race criminals. Somebody had Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy. And then I watch a lot of true crime, and I see like a lot of these kids in foster care and adopted kids. A lot of them go on to do horrible things, and there's some sort of psychological issue going on there. But this just plays into like the world and the chaos we see, and me not reproducing myself has just, the number one advantage has been not having the burdensome worry about their future and their safety, because I know like how much I love my dogs, and like what I would do like if somebody hurt one of them, or if heaven forbid they got hurt, got hit by a car or something. I know that dogs die young, and it's the worst thing about owning a dog. But you get to know, like, Pearl is 2 years old. I know I've got at least 10 years left with her, assuming everything goes decent. Now, she could die younger, but she could also live another 14. She could live to be 16, 17. I mean, I could have 15 more years with her. But that gives me, like, that's why I have so many animals, I think, because I like the responsibility. Even though I don't have the responsibility of children, I have the responsibility of animals, and I give them good lives. And they also provide me with like a bond. I feel such an immense bond with them, such a closeness, that I think that helps with my loneliness as well. And then maybe the thing that I want to disclose to you as well, because there is like, the one thing I will say is that being alone, you can be completely alone, and loneliness in and of itself is bearable pain. husband years ago came out and confessed to her that he was gay, but that they stay together because they're raising kids together. And so she had a situation where she can't really get out of the relationship she is in. I'm in a situation where we're not probably compatible in that way that we would ever be a couple if we were just on our own. But yet both of us have needs that we take care of each other on occasion. And so that is an entanglement of sort, but it's a mutually beneficial thing. And honestly, like, I know, like, for the religious folks out there, this would be frowned upon, but for me, I see it as a beautiful thing. It is two humans coming together to take care of each other in a way that is sensual and beautiful. And it's a mutually understood situation that neither one of us have the expectation that there's anything more. We have a mutual respect for each other. We understand the other's situation. And we just are that. Now, if I were to tell her tomorrow that, hey, I've met the woman of my dreams, she would be happy for me. And likewise, if she told me that, I would be happy for her. You know? But those are the things, like, people do to get through life, you know, and be able to, you know, meet our basic essential needs of life. But I do hold out hope. Again, I hold out hope that somehow, some way, that I find somebody. But if I don't, I really feel like I'm gonna be happy. I do feel happy, and I don't feel like cheated by life. I know I've made the decisions I've made. Besides the one girl I told you about that I wasn't ready for her. It was like right girl, wrong time. I can't fix that. But the relationships, like the one that broke my heart and then the one that just didn't work out, or my high school sweetheart, I don't wish those would have worked. I don't want those ever. I'm glad those relationships ended because they weren't right. And if I was in any one of those today, I would not be happy. I would be like my miserable friends that call me and say, oh my God, you're so lucky. My wife this, and my kids this, or the madness that some people go through, the misery that some people are in just because they get themselves in a situation they see no way out of. So I would take my life over that life any day. But I'll reiterate that I think the perfect life is finding that person that gets you 100%, that respects you, that loves you, that cares for you, that would never cheat on you. And I know that it's rare, but I know it exists. There are people, hopefully there's some of you watching this today that say, I got that. And I envy that of you. You're lucky. But I just hope that this little talk will help any of you out there that are struggling with where you're at, that maybe you feel lonely inside, but just know that your loneliness is way better than misery with someone. And just hold out hope. Like, hope is it's not really a good strategy, but it's a good feeling. Hope will get you through, and you can have faith. You can become that person. Just keep working on yourself. The better person you become, the higher caliber of mate you're gonna find. And so that's what I do. I work on myself every day. I live a good life. find somebody. And if I don't, then I don't. And so I keep a good attitude about it. And it just keeps me happy. So that's how I do it. That's how I got here. I hope this helps somebody. I appreciate you watching. See you on the next one.